Finally, I'm live. I'm live. Okay, now I can come off of this and go here. Am I live? Or is it delayed? Is anybody here? Can anybody hear me? Are we live together? Am I live? Is I'm live with y'all? Even if you broke, my love don't cost a thing. Am I live? Boom. Is I'm live? I'm live! This is my first live of, oh, turn this thing down. This is my first live of 2025, and I am extremely excited about it. I'm extremely excited. So I'm not gonna wait for anybody to jump on because I don't have an audience. But what I wanted to talk about today for grown women, this is not for children. So if you are a child, I'm a 33-year-old woman, okay? So if you are a child, this is not a conversation that I'm having for you or with you. Please understand that. Today, what I wanted to talk about was you're allowed to be sexy. When you're a sweet, shy, nice girl, we're kind of put in this box of what it is that we are allowed to be as women and how we're allowed to show up, which is not to blame for anyone or even for yourself, because you've only showed up in a certain number of ways all of your life. So when you're trying to kind of break free of that stereotype and embrace more of the truth of who you are, because this is a conversation for somebody who feels this energy within them, not somebody who's just like, I don't know, I'm just interested in it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to feel it. So I kind of want to start off with a backstory. So first of all, I was a Catholic schoolgirl, right? So most of my life up until high school, I grew up in the Catholic school. Both of my parents are Caribbean parents. So, you know, they promote more so, you know, education, your connection to God, being a good girl, being a good person, being like a nurturer, having those mother qualities, knowing how to cook, knowing how to clean, different things like that. Those are the things that are prioritized. And anytime that, like a fuller energy, I call it a fuller energy, starts to come through your body and, you know, you start to feel yourself, there was like always a quick attempt to kind of put that fire out for me. Which, I mean, they were my parents, I was their kid, I was their little girl, you know what I'm saying? So it makes sense. So there's no bashing of the Catholic Church in this. There's no bashing of my parents in this at all. They did their duties as adults. Okay? They did their duties as adults. So I've always been this nice, sweet, kind, loving young woman. Very nurturing, very mothering. I had the girl next door kind of archetype. I had the mother archetype. I had the friend, the sister archetype. But I didn't, unless I was like in a deeply intimate relationship with somebody, only the person who knew me like real intimately knew there was a whole other side to me. Now, I am a Scorpio. So it's just natural. Like, it just comes with the territory. And I have a lot of Scorpio in my chart. So the more sensual, energy is definitely there. The sensual energy is 100% there. And I've just never known how to express that. At first, I didn't know what it was. And I just never knew how to express it. So as I'm moving through my life and I'm just like unhappy, right? You know, you're doing all of the things right. You know, you went to school, you got your degree, you applied for the jobs, and I get in the jobs, you're nice, you smile, you're kind, you're doing all of the things that you were taught to do, everything that you were raised to do, and it's still not working. So now I'm like, okay, I'm like reaching a bump in the road. Like, okay, I'm not being able to move forward in my life. And so that is what caused me to kind of go into some introspection, because I just really I was like stuck. I was stuck. I didn't know where I was going. And it took me a lot of years to like really get back into my body, because when I tell you I was disassociated, I was disassociated, honey. I was floating all up in the ether. So when I first got into spirituality, first got back into my body, it was very heady. It was very floaty, right? Like I was reading tarot cards, I was channeling, I was, trying to talk to my ancestors and just doing a whole bunch of stuff, which a lot of people do, but for me wasn't actually my path. And I would do them and I would be good at them, but like the frequency to continue doing it wasn't there. The frequency, I'm like, okay, is this supposed to be my path? The frequency to turn it into a career wasn't there. So I'm like, okay, that's not working. And I kept getting this nudge like, you need to go beyond this. You need to go beyond this. You need to go beyond this. So I'm like, okay, keep going, keep going, keep going. I'm just dabbling in everything at this point. I'm dabbling in all sorts of stuff. I have my limits, of course. I definitely have my limits, but for the most part, I'm dabbling in everything, just trying to figure out who I am, how do I show up, and how do I work with my own energy, So over the time, I had been having like this really strong call to just focus on my body, and not necessarily, I always thought that focus on my body meant like focus on my weight, because I think since the beginning of time, I've struggled with my weight. So I'm thinking focus on your body means you need to eat healthy and lose weight. So I did that. I ate healthy. I walked 5 miles a day. During COVID, I lost like 35 pounds or something. I don't know. I was looking fine though. I was looking real good. And that still wasn't the thing. Like even after that, I still was unhappy. I still was insecure. I still did not know where to go. I was doing better for myself at the time. I was working for myself. I had a couple of different gigs going on at the time. I was doing better, but the momentum I felt was like getting ready to drop off a cliff. So I'm like, oh man, I'm about to lose all of this. I could just feel it coming, and I didn't know what else to do. So I ended up gaining all of the weight back plus some. I'm currently at the plus some now. I ended up gaining all of my weight back plus some. And I'm still getting that same message: go into your body, go into your body, go into your body. So I started playing with things like stretching and Pilates, like things to just help me like feel myself. And that's when I really understood how outside of my body I was. And there was this book that really helped me, and I think it's around here somewhere. Hold on one second. It's not. Where did I put it? I carry the book everywhere that I go. So I thought maybe it would be like right in front of me, but it isn't. It's called The Lover Within, and I can't remember the author's name, but it's kind of like a tantric approach to like finding spirituality within yourself. But you can do it by yourself. You don't need a partner, because typically with tantra you need a partner. With this, you do not need a partner. So I started doing that, and she kind of started showing me how to, through the book, of course, started showing me how to work with my energy field. I always knew what an aura was and everything like that, but she started showing me how to work with it, how to manipulate it, how to strengthen it, how to thicken it. I didn't know you could thicken your aura, how to thicken it, all of these different sorts of types of things. And long story short, that really got me into my body. And so now that I'm in my body, I realize how erotic my energy is, and not in just the seg way. I want to watch my words, because YouTube be trolling, but not necessarily in such a sexual way, an actual way. It's just like what I'm running into is there is an amount of pleasure, there's an amount of sensuality, and eroticism that is like a current moving through all of life that goes beyond anything that you'll sit down and do with a partner or with your rose in your room. You know what I'm saying? Like there's just this pleasure and this joy and this like colorfulness to life that when you get grounded enough in your body and safe enough in your body, you can embody and experience life that way. And when you experience life that way, you kind of become this sensual magnet. Not even necessarily towards people. People will be magnetized to you, but just in your life. So now I feel like I'm back on my path, and I feel like I know where I'm going now, and I feel like I know who I am now. And all of this comes from me basically having this whole portion of myself, this dark portion of myself, this sensual portion of myself that has been demonized through religion, through my parents, through the media. It's been so demonized because I've always wanted to be a really good person. I have a very big heart. I have a very genuine heart. So the energy was always portrayed in a certain way that made me feel like this is not the way that it goes. There was a time in my life where in 2020, when I had lost the weight and I got into my body, the energy came up. And like I saw, like for a snapshot, literally it was like 10 minutes. I just like found my power. But it seemed so enticing and it seemed so evil. And I was like, oh nah, I don't think I should do this, but I didn't understand at the time. I only had the consciousness or the knowledge to understand that energy at such a low level. And so now here I am 4 or 5 years later, and I understand what I thought the energy was has nothing to do with what the energy actually is. And I was stunted and I was blocked in my life because I was only acting from a shell version of myself, from this sweet, kind, nice, always listening to everybody, always being open to everybody, like no value for myself, no value for my time, no value for my energy. I didn't even understand how my energy operated. I didn't understand how there were energy exchanges with people. I was completely people like overboard with the people pleasing. Like I'm not even a person at this point. Like I don't even exist on the planet. I'm only here to serve type foolishness, And so I really began to start pulling that energy back into my body, being seated in my body and not being afraid when those erotic and those sensual feelings come up and through my body. Now, for that's just an intro. It's such a deep topic. That's just an intro. The next part that blocks that energy from coming is you are only known in the world one certain way. People only know you as the sweet little girl from the fifth grade, right? Your parents only know you as the little kid that they knew you as. Your friends only know you as, the nice, people pleasing friend who's always there when you need them. You know what I'm saying? Like they only know you in about 3 to 4 different ways. Yet they think they know everything about you, which is hilarious. I don't know everything about me. How could you know everything about me, But that's what they be thinking. And so when you start embodying more of this sensual energy, or when you start to discover this version of yourself that exists, that's always existed, it's like easy to shun it, to put it back in the box and tuck it back under the bed because it doesn't fit the current shell of yourself that you are expressing to the world. So it's going to require you to kind of break that shell down, come out of that cast that you're in and express more of yourself. And it's such a magnetic frequency that people are not used to. So sometimes they take it the wrong way. Sometimes they think that you are looking for attention. Sometimes that they think that you're trying too hard. Sometimes they think that you're trying to be something that you're not trying to be. And people may not necessarily say this to you, but these will be the thoughts that you will have in your head when you're trying to embody the energy that's naturally yours, that's in your body, that as a woman you have, that is your magnetism, that draws everything that you could ever desire into your algorithm, into your life to experience in real time. And it actually doesn't take that long. But we only know sexiness, sensuality. We only know it in the way of like corn hub. If you understand what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? We know corn hub, we know whatever they show us on TV, but we don't know like the truth. That's just like the bottom of the barrel of what it is. When you are doing something like that, with a partner that means something to you, that you have a connection with, that's in itself a different completely thing. But especially in today's world where we have this women's liberation and women are on the main stage doing all kinds of stuff in the name of women's liberation, in the name of women's sexuality, and in the name of a woman owning the rights to her body. I still don't think that we as women have understood. We're still conceptualizing this liberation that we're talking about through a masculine lens. And we have not stepped back and gone internal into ourselves yet to understand that it's way more than the guys even could have thought. To the guys, it's this. That's what it is to the guys. You know what I mean? To us, it's a whole nother reality that we can be living in all the time in this specific reality. What else do I want to add to this? I guess I can say this is like an intro to where my channel is going to be going, the topics that I'm going to be covering on my channel, and how to embody and how to uncover this energy. I'm currently on this path right now to embody and uncover this energy within myself, because it takes a lot of work. You know what I'm saying? You have to show up different in life. You have to show up different at work. You're going to have to let people go. You're going to have to let places go. You're going to have to let things go. And it's truly about learning how to follow your desire and knowing that you're allowed to have your desire. You're allowed to live in what makes you feel good. You're allowed to live in what is pleasurable. Of course, there are going to be things that you don't, you have to do that you don't want to do. That's just life. But you're allowed to bring more pleasure into the experience, and you're allowed to create from a place of pleasure. I feel like within history, up until now, we really haven't grasp that concept, and I feel like that's where we're turning the next page over to. We haven't truly grasped that concept. We have lived in survival and we have lived in need for an incredibly long time, for an extremely long time. So the concept of living in pleasure, living in desire, living in what you want versus, scarcity and what you got to get and what you can get now, and this is all I got and I got to work hard, and you know what I'm saying? You can live in that algorithm, sure, and you can also live in a pleasureful algorithm, and it's not gonna switch overnight. I know on TikTok they were talking a lot about being delulu and the whole money manifestation, live this great life, quantum leap foolishness was like going rampant. For the quantum leap thing, you don't want a quantum leap, okay? You don't want a quantum leap. You want to take it easy. You want to take it, light. You want to baby step it. Because could you imagine if you were able to quantum leap into another reality, but you don't have any of the habits, you don't have any of the disciplines, you don't have any of the jargon, you don't have any of the understanding of the new world? What do you think, you're going to quantum leap and then you're just going to be a new person overnight? No, you're still on earth. You're still a human, right? So you have to build new habits. You have to build new consistencies in order to actually be able to live there. So quantum leaping can be more damaging than it can be rewarding for many, many people, because you'll get somewhere. You can absolutely do it. You'll get somewhere and you cannot sustain. So when you fall, you might fall real hard. You might fall real hard, or you might be one of those people who fall and get discouraged easily and can't get back up. So I'm not a proponent of this quantum leap, this quick jump, do this 10-minute meditation and jump to the next reality. Like, that's foolishness. But what they're really talking about is what can be created in your own personal algorithm when you are steeped in your pleasure, when you are steeped in your desire, when you're steeped in what you want, and not from such a low level way that we've been experiencing all the way up until now. It's like, it's a shift. It's a higher understanding of the energy that's here, of the eros that's here, of the eros that has been creating all things from the beginning of time. It's just a concept that we weren't able to fully understand. So the title of this right now, it says, you're allowed to be sexy, meaning you're allowed to own your erotic energy. You're allowed to be a sensual woman or man, or however you present. You're allowed to be all of these things, especially if you are of age. You know what I'm saying? And people, places, and things may want you to stay the small version of yourself that you have been all up until now. It's okay to disappoint people in that way. It's okay to cut people off. It's okay to pivot and change, because the next version of your life that makes you happy, that fulfills you, and that fulfills others around you is on the other side of that change, right? Because if you stay within that box, it's like a descension, right? It's like a descension. And it keeps you in this 3D reality, which we see what's going on with the times, right? We see what's going on with the times. So I'm going to stop this live here. I appreciate you guys so much for your time. This was just an intro video. This was a lot of information. I think I'm going to go back and dissect this video and then probably turn it into 6 different videos or something like that. So I appreciate you guys. Oh, also understand, because this topic is more on the taboo side, I'm not going to just be there's going to be a level of, what's the word? censorship. There's going to be a level of censorship. So everything that I want to say, I'm not going to say because of the type of topic that it is. So I may be coming up with something that keeps it more private, that creates more of a community for us to have these type of conversations. So for now, my name is Salandria. This is the Queendom Rules channel. I appreciate you so much for your time, for your patience, for sitting with me today. If you like the video, please go ahead and comment. Let me know what you like. Let me know your thoughts on the topic. Like the video and subscribe for more. I appreciate you. Peace. Turn this thing off.